How much did you score in CAT?
Sir, it was 99.71 percentile. Once we get in the field of medicine, we are programmed in a way कि हाँ पहले MBBS करो फिर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन में जाओ. I had no precedence कि मैंने इनको देख के ये सोचा कि हाँ कर सकते हैं. Like I did mathematics maybe after 9 years for CAT examination. How will I be able to cope up with these things? And it's not about the questions or the answers they ask. It's like the entire perception of them, the entire duration, how you are there. मतलब आपका पूरा attitude कैसा है during the interview. That is what matters.
Most of it is communicated through non-verbal communication.
Right.
Okay, more than even verbal communication. And based on our body language, how confident we are, how we're phrasing it, they figure out whether I'm telling the truth or lie.
When I got the call, I was in the flight. I had an FMS interview the next day.
Okay.
Flight was about to take off. It was on the runway, and I felt like abhi utar jaye flight ko log.
I'll tell you the mistakes that I made, okay?
Yes.
So that I think you can learn from it. It might be controversial. Hi guys, with me is Jayesh Bansal. He's a student of Cracku who converted IIM Ahmedabad. He was in Hyderabad coincidentally, so I thought I'll meet him and I'll talk to him about not just his CAT journey, because he's a doctor. So I'm also interested to know why he chose MBA after becoming a doctor, and just his journey, and maybe I'll also give him some advice on what to do in IIM, how to study, what are the things to do and all. Okay, so it'll just be a casual conversation. So like I was asking you before the recording started, and you were telling me, after becoming a doctor, why did you want to become a...
Yes, sir. So as I said, you say it's a very difficult thing to answer, and like it's very like unconventional or something that cannot be explained, because once we get in the field of medicine, we are programmed in a way कि हाँ पहले MBBS करो फिर post graduation में जाओ, and if you wish go to a super specialty stream, yeah, be a postgraduate. So breaking these shackles or getting into a different path was really difficult. And समथिंग लाइक एमबीए करने का इंस्टिंक्ट कहाँ से आया? इट वाज फ्रॉम द इनर सेल्फ. ऐसे कोई बाहर का मोटिवेशन या आई हैड नो प्रेसिडेंस कि मैंने इनको देख के ये सोचा कि हाँ कर सकते हैं. सो इट वाज लाइक समथिंग नेचुरल और वेरी इंट्रिंसिक सा.
Okay, but actually some doctors do MBA. Like
sir,
even in
actually.
my batch, there were some doctors.
Like in fact, I came to know about this later on. 2 years senior to me, there is a senior from my college. He is in IIM Indore. And in fact, moreover, I got to know there is a senior 10 to 12 years back. He did his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad.
No, it is more common than that. Okay, like I think at least 1 or 2 doctors will be there in every batch. Okay,
Right, sir.
They stand out because engineers तो like 90% या 80% तो होते ही हैं.
Right,
So
sir.
a doctor or a CA, okay, CA is I think more common than a doctor, but doctors are also not extremely rare. It is rare, but not extremely rare.
Yes, sir. But I don't know. I'm apprehensive about it, sir, because like I did mathematics maybe after 9 years for CAT examination. How will I be able to cope up with these things? And
So how was it? How much did you score in CAT?
sir, it was 99.71 percentile. VARC score was less, somewhere around 92 percentile. And my logical reasoning and cons both were around 99.78.
Very good, man. Very good. Very nice. Excellent. So you must have had all the calls, right?
No, sir. I do not have calls from Bangalore and Calcutta.
Oh, really?
Yes,
You had
sir.
only A.
A
I
and
am
then
also the big ones, A and L.
A and then Lucknow, Kozhikode, Indore, Mumbai. This stuff.
And that's great, man. You had a good shot. So how was the interview?
So the interview was around 20 to 22 minutes long. I expected they would ask about why MBA, why MBA after MBBS, but they did not went too much into it. They started with it, but within a minute or few seconds, they diverted from that topic. I was asked a lot of current affair questions, things that was going on at that point of time. Moreover, I was asked maths question.
Very nice.
Not within my peripheries, like one question I could recall was plot a graph for y equals to log x by x. So
that's
I
tough,
thought
man.
about it, but logarithms is something we don't study in class 10th in too depth. So I told the interviewers that no, I am not comfortable with this. Then they were like, फिर तो तुमको probability वगैरह भी नहीं आता होगा. And I was like, sir, नहीं आता है, but सीख लेंगे. And I am very keen to learn mathematics. In fact, my quant score was good. So in that way, it was more matlab too much current affairs.
Okay. No, I think what they were trying to say is they know that you're a doctor. So they thought if I give some maths questions, okay, will he get stressed out? Okay.
Right.
Or will he be like keeping
Exactly. After giving so many interviews, what I observed, what I feel is it's not about the questions or the answers they asked. It's like the entire perception of them, the entire duration, how you are there, मतलब आपका पूरा
Yeah.
attitude कैसा है during the
True, true,
interview,
true.
that is what matters.
See, when I was preparing for interviews, I remember reading somewhere that most of it is communicated through non-verbal communication.
Right.
Okay, more than even verbal communication. Okay, and I remember one more thing. Okay, when I was preparing for interviews, I used to ask a lot of seniors that okay, what should I prepare? Okay, because I was worried of my grades and all, and especially in my academics, what should I prepare? What topics? And then I remember one senior told me, see, those guys, the interviewers, know everything about everything. Okay, even if you're a computer science guy, they will ask you computer science questions. If you're a civil guy, they will ask you civil questions. And that stuck with me for a long time. And when I actually entered the room, they were asking me proper computer science questions. Okay. And after I answered, they were okay. Then I thought, how is this possible? Because how can they know about all the departments? Okay. Because they're just three guys, right? They don't know whether I'm computer science or not.
Right.
But later I realized that they know the questions from each of the topics. Okay. And based on our body language, how confident we are, how we're phrasing it, they figure out whether I'm telling the truth or lie. Okay. So they're exceptional at reading the body language. Okay.
But I believe that is not the case with us. In almost all of the interviews, I was not asked any academic question.
Yeah.
मतलब what happened in most of the interviews, there were two panelists and they were like, sir, आप पूछिए and ma'am, आप पूछिए. And मतलब, obviously, they do not have any knowledge of this background. In fact, a few questions I was asked in JAP interview ki arteries and veins kya karte hain, and that is a class 6 level question. So yes, it's in our case, like I have later on received a lot of my juniors messaging me कि ये cat का part क्या है, can we like divert from what we are doing.
Yeah, nice.
So it's very unusual for we people in the medical background to do something else.
So what do you plan to do after MBA? I think you would have had some answer prepared, right? For why are you doing an MBA?
Sir, to be matlab, to speak the truth, what I said in fact, like I am not doing an MBA for a job or to work as a consultant lifelong. I want to go into the business line of thing, have my own venture. So that was the thing. Like,
okay, that's good. No, that's a good enough. That's a very good thing. Because again, many times I also notice that unless we are actually part of something, okay, we will never be basically starting anything.
exactly,
We'll be just
sir.
stuck in our silo.
Exactly, sir.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in this field and if I go to specialty and super specialty, I will just be narrowing my vision and stick to that one stream or one dance. We become ingrained in this system too much to explore other things, sir. In fact, if I have to share my like when I got the call, I was in the flight. I had an FMS interview the next day on 14th, and the results published on 13th around 4:50 p.m. And my flight was about to take off. It was on the runway, and I felt like abhi utar jaye flight ko log ke.
Yeah.
So yes,
That's good, man. Very nice. So yeah, do you have any questions about IIM or what to do or?
Yes, sir. I do have a lot of questions.
Sure,
Like,
you can ask me anything.
The curriculum of MBA is something I am totally alien to.
Okay.
So, will I be able to cope up? That is the very first question. And
Okay.
what should I do? How should I start from now on?
Okay. I'll tell you one thing. Very good question. I'll tell you the mistakes that I made. Okay.
Yes.
So that I think you can learn from it. When I went into IIM, I was basically I didn't do well in my BTech. Okay. So I was slightly underconfident. Okay. That hurt me in some ways. That also helped me in some ways. I didn't do well in my BTech because I was just very immature. So I was focused that I have to do well. Okay. In IIM, I was from the first day, I was focused that I have to study well. Okay. But I was not confident. Okay. The goals that I set for myself, okay, were pretty laughable at the end. Basically, my goal when I was entering IIM, okay, I remember telling myself that I have to pass every course. Okay. Which is because that was my mindset. Okay.
Right, sir.
Which I don't want anybody to do. Okay. Basically, I tell myself that if I had set my goals higher, if I told I was sure that I was going to study well, but I was just not confident that I will be able to study because of all the things that happened. So one thing is aim high, okay? Don't aim low, okay? Academically, aim high, okay? Because it is all in your hands. That is the first thing I would tell you. The second thing, again, the mistake I made was I kind of wasted the 2 months, okay? After the calls were released and before the IIM started. Not really wasted, I was resting, I was like recharging and all. But I also feel that if I had actually talked to some seniors, okay, about what are the kind of courses that are there, what should I do to prepare myself? I don't need to study too much, but at least even if I'm studying for an hour a day, I would be mentally prepared. I would know what to expect. There, when I went there were some courses where I knew nothing. I didn't know any basics.
Right.
And what I feel is once you know the basics, at least for somebody like me, I will pick it up fast. Okay, but if it is completely alien, for me to get familiarized with it, okay, it is going to take some time.
So, sir, in order to familiarize,
Yeah.
what should we do? Like,
I'll tell you one thing, okay? First, go and download the curriculum for first year,
Right.
okay? You should know very clearly what are the subjects that are being taught
right.
in every term, okay? I think there will be 3 slots, right? 6 slots.
Yes, sir.
6 slots and 3 terms, correct, in the first year. You should know basically, and every term basically will have like say 5 or 6, maybe 10 courses.
Okay, sir.
You should know the names of all of the courses.
Right, sir.
Very clear. Second, you should know what is it basically going to be about. Okay, you don't need to know the depth of it. For example, if there is something like say decision making, that is a quant course, that is a proper maths course. Okay,
sir.
you should know that one of the courses is accounting. You should know what is the credit for each of it. Okay, so that you are mentally prepared that okay, these are all the things that will be asked. That I think is the basic step. Okay, the second thing I would advise you to do is definitely if you're not from a commerce background, which you are not,
Yes, sir.
go through the accounts thing more in detail. Okay, once
Right,
you
sir.
get it, try to figure out what is actually taught in accounts. Okay, in account, because it has a lot of weightage. Okay, and you don't need to know everything, but again, the more you know, the faster you will pick it up there. Okay,
sir.
so accounts I would say is very important. Okay, second very important thing is Excel. Excel is very easy. Okay, it is very scoring, but in MBA the problem is time is very limited.
Right, sir.
So even if you're able to save 10 hours, okay, if you know Excel very well, you will easily breeze through that course, okay,
Yes.
and you are saving 10 hours, okay. It is something that you can easily pick up. These two, I would say, are very important as far as from an academic standpoint. These are things I should have done in those 2 months, okay. First, know, again, in accounts is a very vast field, okay. So you should be more specific, okay. What is the accounts that is actually taught in IMA?
Okay.
It is not difficult. You can find some materials or something, some textbook. What is the textbook they're referring? Something or the other, you can figure it out. You
Okay,
don't
sir.
need to go through the depth of it. But even if you are knowing the basics,
Matlab
okay,
fundamentals.
fundamentals.
If we are familiar with
Yeah.
it.
So, for example, if say you're teaching permutations and combinations to a kid, okay. Now, once the kid knows nothing, it will be difficult for you to teach. But say the kid knows what is a factorial, okay.
Right, sir.
Then teaching permutations becomes easier. So, basically, I'm saying you should know the factorials, okay, before
Right,
you
sir.
enter,
Yes.
okay. So, accounts one. Next, know the syllabus, the overview, okay, what exactly is being taught where. Then become very good at Excel, okay. Excel is very easy. You will save time.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and you have to score well in it. Everybody scores well in it.
Okay.
Don't waste time in it. Okay. In addition to it, there is the first term will be very hectic, because the first term is I think the first 2 slots and maybe the third slot. Okay, that is when the placements happen, the summer
sir.
internships. Till that time, it is very hectic. Not just from an academic standpoint. It is also because many companies come to the placements. Okay, you have to go and attend their PPTs. You are basically required to attend the PPTs. Some people after a point of time feel, अरे मुझे attend नहीं करना है, मुझे सिर्फ पढ़ाई करना है. But basically, place commerce and all, they basically force you to go. So you won't have free time for yourself. Okay. So any time that you're able to save in the first 3 slots, you should try to save. Second, for this summers, you will need to build a resume.
Right.
They will again ask you to build a resume immediately after you go. The first thing that placement committee is going to tell you is build a master resume. A master resume is basically everything that you have ever done, okay, which shows something about you, okay. There is no like restriction or something. It will be very long, but they basically want you to put it in, and from there you can try to create your own resumes, okay. So try to create the master resume now, okay.
sir.
Keep thinking कि मैंने क्या किया, like 6th standard में मैंने कुछ तो जीता, वो लिखो, okay. And उसके लिए proof मांगते हैं. So वो proof अगर तेरे पास कोई certificate है, okay, photo है, कुछ ना कुछ तो है, तो try to accumulate it. Why are you doing this? Again, because you will save time at that time. If you don't do it now, you will do it after you go there, okay,
Right,
which is a waste of time. Second, वहाँ पे जाके proofs ढूंढना, okay, is like hectic and also painful. No, then you have to call your school, all of
Right,
that.
sir.
I'm saying all of that, do it now.
Okay,
So I'll tell you, master resume, accounts, Excel.
Excel. Okay.
That I think is something, and then enjoy it, chill.
So one of the very big question, like everybody from my fraternity has, what are the scopes for a doctor after doing an MBA?
It doesn't matter if you really ask me, okay. For every profile, okay, for every resume, there will be, if say there are 100 jobs, okay, for every profile, say some 20 jobs, they will not be shortlisted, okay, based on the profile that they have, okay. For example, if it is a fresher, he might not be shortlisted for certain roles. If he is somebody with a lot of work age, he will not be shortlisted for certain roles, okay. If he is like some guy with a lot of finance things, he might not be shortlisted for like say some other roles, okay. A doctor also might not be shortlisted for certain
Right,
roles,
sir.
okay. But by and large, the remaining 80, and these 20 are different for each person, okay. But by and large, the 80 is completely up to you.
Okay.
You understand, right? So it depends on how well you scored in your, if your grades are good, for example. I don't know how your grades are.
So 10th and 12th were good. It's around 95%.
Okay.
Low.
And
In graduation, it's generally low for
Mm.
ABBS. So I had 69.95.
Okay, I think that's okay. So basically, if your scores are good, you have a good chance from consulting. Okay. In general, consults also look for like different kinds of people. Okay.
Right, sir.
So the diversity kind of a thing will do, it will help you. So again, I don't see that there will be anything, I don't think you will basically suffer.
Right, sir.
There will be some people, unfortunately, okay, I don't want to say, basically some profiles, okay, it might be controversial, but say if somebody has outperformed in CAT, okay, or some done extremely well in certain things, okay, then they might struggle during summers, okay. Basically, if they're, if say they had an amazing interview, okay, and their CAT score was very good, but say their 10th and 12th scores are poor,
Okay.
okay, so it is expected that they would not get into IIM, but somehow they did very well and went in,
Yes.
okay. Now, they might not get a lot of shortlists, okay. But what I would tell anybody is summers are basically more or less decided by two things. Okay. One is most of it is based on what you have done before. Okay.
Okay, sir. मतलब your background, your
हाँ,
profile
हाँ,
again matters.
हाँ, by and large.
Okay.
And like slightly अगर तुम्हारा थोड़ा is it like slightly different from everybody else, that will also get some interest. Okay. But otherwise, summer is not in your hands. But
Okay.
mains, that is the placements after 2 years,
Yes, sir.
is entirely in your hands.
Acha.
Like you have no reason to complain other than or blame anybody other than yourself if you don't perform well in the final placements, because final placements mein CGPA in IIM is so important. Okay, so important. So if there are some people who legitimately complain about summers, I totally get it. Okay, because thoda unfortunate bhi lagta hai, but mains is in your hands.
Okay, sir. And sir, I have recently heard a lot from people about CFA. So
Hmm.
is it helpful? Yeah, is it appropriate for people like me?
CFA basically, see, in general, CFA is not like a one point help. Okay, it is like a process.
But to get to know about the basics of
Yeah, then it's good.
stats, economics,
Yeah, do
accounts.
it. If it is about knowing
Yes,
or
sir. Exactly.
learning, I would say do it. Okay, there is nothing wrong with it. It will basically, if you learn 100 things, okay, say 30% of it will be
It will
useful.
be useful. Yeah, it will give me overall picture
Yeah.
of the thing.
For that, I think it will definitely be helpful. Okay, as something to add to your resume, it is not very useful. Okay, and but again, if you have time and if you have nothing to lose or money and time and money, if they're there with you, it might help you by like say 1%, which is again there. It won't be like very huge,
Right.
but if say somebody has to choose between two candidates, everything is the same. Okay,
Right.
in those kind
Then-
of like border case scenarios,
Okay.
it might be useful. Okay. Other than that, I would tell you that enjoy those 2 years in IIM. Okay, I think for me they are the golden periods of my life. Okay, I was doing very well in most of the things. Okay, uh, I would say try to make friends. Try to, like, many people tell you they will bore you about this networking and all. Okay,
Yes, sir.
networking is not bad. Okay, but you should not enter IMA to network. Then you will never network.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So the way to think of networking is
Making friends.
make yeah, but you won't be making like super close friends. But
Right.
basically, the way to look at it is there will be like say 400 people in your batch. At the end of 2 years, the system itself will try to make everyone know everyone.
Right.
Okay. So basically, if you meet somebody, okay, from your batch, you'll know his name, you will know which section he's from, you will know what his background is. That is how much work ex he has. Okay. Which type of work ex he has. Okay. Is he an engineer or a non-engineer? Which hostel he goes to? Where did he get his summer placement? All of this you will know. Okay, without even trying, because you will be part of so many different groups, you will be part of so many clubs. Okay, you will have so many common friends either in the same section or same hostel. You will interact with each other. Okay, so basically the reason this is important is because at the end of 10 years, say, okay, you are graduated, now you are looking to shift your job, you are looking for some guy in any big company in India, whether it is Zomato,
Yes.
or okay, Paytm or anything, Ola, anything, then you would want somebody to push your resume, somebody in a senior role. Okay, now that person, you might not know that person, he might not be from your batch,
Right.
but he will definitely know somebody from your batch. Okay, so that guy might be from, say, I am Bangalore. Okay, so if your resume goes to him, he will ask somebody from I am Ahmedabad, okay, what is this guy like? Now that information that your contact or your friend will give should be good.
Right, sir.
So that person should say, yeah, this guy Jayesh is a hardworking guy, he's a trustworthy guy. Okay.
Right.
So that brand has to be good. Okay.
Right, sir.
That is basically networking.
You should have a good perception of yourself
Correct.
around the community.
Correct. That is very important.
Right.
Okay.